These are dark times for atheists on YouTube. We are a demographic fractured by infighting over social and political issues. We've come to a split in ideology, and rather than discuss and debate, I have watched a steady stream of condemnation and personal attacks. Without a strong religious community willing to debate, some atheists have turned to social and political issues for their YouTube content. This was to be expected. The elimination of the comments section response video has brought us much longer and more personal responses involving a near complete autopsy of the criticized original video. Some of these response videos are well done and shed a critical light on very flawed arguments. There are some channels, however, that primarily produce attack videos without offering a counter point of view and simply seem designed to ridicule the original video maker. The new arenas of conflict involve feminism, Islam, race, and any imaginable social justice issue. But all of these issues come with a lot of personal baggage, and calls of sexism, Islamophobia, racism, and other epitaphs of discrimination. Some is justified. Some is slander and an attempt to silence critics. I've seen little actual debate on these issues. It seems to me that the social justice advocates see little advantage to debating these issues, almost as if the issues are not debatable. This is regrettable, in that the examination of ideas in the open market allows the viewer to hear other sides of the issue, much the way the religious debates helped establish atheism on YouTube. And instead of presenting a clear case of goals and expectations of social justice causes, some of the leading advocates on YouTube have turned to redefining atheism and mischaracterizing the morality of atheists that do not openly join their positions. They have resorted to name-calling, shaming, blocking, and banning. They paint with a broad brush, and the picture they paint is ugly and distorted. These tactics have not just failed, but they brought on a flood of angry resistance and resentment among atheists on YouTube. All of this vitriol has created a well-defined split with almost no middle ground for productive discussion. Atheists on YouTube are seen as a large, untapped market share. Failing to present a convincing case openly, advocates of this particular interpretation of social justice are now attempting to divide and conquer by redefining atheists as a community of morally bankrupt people following a delusional leader, namely Sam Harris. It's a ridiculous sentiment, but one they continue to promote. They want to save you from yourself and the evil that surrounds you. Does this sound familiar? Now here are some examples of their latest sales pitch to join their movements.
And what drove me from my firm conviction in the truth of the Church's teachings to the staunch atheism of my adulthood was in part the religion's incredibly regressive social attitudes, and those of other religions. But unfortunately, it's exactly the same kind of shit I see from a great many YouTube atheists. The misogyny that festers in this corner of the internet absolutely sickens me to the core. But, of course, there are other bigotries engaged in. There is a terrible undercurrent of both homophobia and transphobia, racism such as that expressed by Cult of Dusty when he stated that Jewish people need to ask whether the Holocaust was really their fault. Then there's the crude ableism expressed by the venerated Richard Dawkins when he stated that it was immoral to choose not to abort a Down syndrome fetus. And of course there's the religious bigotry masquerading as criticism, which is often pointed largely at Muslims but often goes for Jews and Christians as well. But even with all of this, the misogyny still has the biggest slice of the bigotry pie. It seems all-pervasive at times, and it angers me enormously. At times it makes me feel genuinely ashamed.
You've done enough. Have you no sense of decency, sir? At long last, have you left no sense of decency?
I know this hurts you, Mr. Welch.
I'll say it
May
hurts.
I say, Mr. Chairman, as a point of personal
Atheism,
privilege, I'd like to
or
say
indeed
this.
to cause a
Senator, I
split in
think
the
it hurts
community.
you too, sir.
I do it because I know that atheists can and should be better than this. The fact that all of this hatred has not just been tolerated by the community, but has been celebrated and rewarded has had some really, really negative consequences.
There are two major results of this. First, feminists, especially women, either stop participating in the YouTube atheist community or decide not to start. And second, the atheist community as a whole is perceived by those outside of it as being a place where sexism and misogyny are not merely tolerated, but rewarded.
Over at Free Thought Blogs, Ashley Miller weighs in on her view of the atheist community in a classic case of projection. She starts with the statement that she believes atheists have a superiority complex. Now, in Kevin's case, she may be correct. But then Miller quickly accuses atheists of protecting rapists and trivializing child molestation. Miller goes on to claim that 2 recent mass shooters are a part of the atheist community and that we have some connection to these men based in atheism. These 2 men committed mass shootings. I have no idea what these men believe or don't believe, and I don't care. Whatever I may have in common with them has nothing to do with their crimes. But Ashley would have you believe that you and I hold some responsibility or accountability in these murders. Just let that soak in for a moment. Miller states that atheism can motivate terrible crimes and that atheists have been spreading bad ideas. She ends her thoughtless article with the following statement: "We dehumanize people who disagree with us instead of arguing about ideas." It's ironic, and it could be the proper slogan for the Free Thought Blogs website and the Atheism Plus organization. On the same website, P.Z. Myers then blogged his support for Miller's position, adding that he too believed that atheism played a role in the Oregon mass shooting. He claims that atheists are, in some way, responsible for this tragedy. Myers' view that the atheist community is morally bankrupt can only be understood in the light that he believes that there should be a doctrine or dogma officially attached to the definition of atheism. So with all this in mind, here's a growing list of characteristics according to these supporters of Atheism Plus. This is how you are viewed by these people. Now, the most astonishing part of this is the parallel to Christian apologetics, and comparing atheists to known mass murderers. The claim that atheists are immoral, claims that atheists spread bad ideas, claims that atheists are criminals. Now, these claims are straight from the Christian playbook in the past. It didn't work then, and it won't work now. Now, to be fair, these people are fully entitled to their opinions. They are individuals, and they are accountable for their statements. They have clearly implied, however, that they are members of an atheist community, that, in their statements, community members are responsible for each other's behavior. So I think it's only fair that the community they have created share in my criticism. If I am wrong, their members certainly have a forum to express themselves. And these people at Free Thought Blog and Atheism Plus like to use the label dictionary atheist as a slur. I, however, prefer to be called a dictionary atheist. It's my statement that I will not be manipulated by attempts to redefine the word and its actual meaning. There is no agenda. I can't define the personal characteristics of a typical atheist. for obvious reasons, but I can state some qualities and themes that appear quite often in the atheists I know. They are skeptical, and this skepticism led to a break with religion and theism. Many have paid a personal or public or professional price for their intellectual honesty. These are people of courage. Far from being immoral, atheists often make a conscious examination of their moral positions, rather than have a religion or organization force a doctrine on them. Atheists must also, at some point, face their fear of death without the reassurance of an afterlife. This, too, takes courage. Atheists also carry a constant reminder to think rationally, to reason critically. They don't have the option of pointing to a holy book or a social movement doctrine to excuse their position. Each atheist must take responsibility for their own words and are held accountable to their positions, often by other atheists. The subscribers and viewers of this channel do not hesitate to call me out when they believe I am wrong. They are not shy. At times, I have been rightly burned in some commentary, but I have yet to feel personally attacked for my views. My ideas, yes, but as a person, not even once. Finally, atheists are a diverse group of individuals. All of this chaos should make it clear that atheists do not adopt the same views or lifestyle, a common accusation from the Christian community. Atheists may be the most diverse of groups. I have always viewed my online participation in a couple of different ways. First is the open bazaar and the free market of ideas, the bartering and the debate and the unregulated discussions. At other times I see it as a season ticket holder to some of the best videos and commentary and a truly entertaining and enlightening experience shared with others in a stadium. I have made connections with those around me and even a few new friends. But my involvement and commitment ends there. Anything beyond this level of interaction has nothing to do with atheism. It is a free choice I make for myself, and not the result of implicit expectations. The only official atheist community I see on YouTube is under the banner of Atheism Plus. Their leadership and high-profile members, as you can see, have a very different idea of atheism, one with chains attached, and a very disturbing view of YouTube atheists. It's not for me. There's a growing level of freedom in the Western world to challenge religious belief. Secular blowback towards theocratic public policy has become the norm, and as the number of nuns or non-religious grows, the battle for the separation of church and state becomes less intense and less frequent. Now, there may be a case for a secular movement, but I don't see atheism, a rejection of theism, as a movement. It, to me, is a personal insight. It may open the door to other insights, but you are not required to take it any further than that. You have not enrolled in any group or movement. Now, this does not mean that you shouldn't involve yourself in worthy causes. I think one of the best ways to express your morality is to create relationships with others in an effort to promote well-being in society. That could be anything, any activity that speaks to your sympathies and understandings. It may be feminism. It may be social justice. It may be feeding the needy. It may be politics or blogging or any number of ways to participate in trying to create a better world. Or not. Sometimes simply being the best person you can be is the best thing for you to do. There is nothing in the word atheism to suggest that you owe anybody anything.